Chad Oda here. I had the opportunity to catch up with my friend, Master of Code, founder Dmitry Gritsenko, and he's actually in my neck of the woods today. As you guys can tell by the background, I was walking in a trail in Seattle, and we're actually at a WeWork, guys. And, so Master of Code, they work with many mid-market and large enterprise companies, variety of verticals from telco to beauty and cosmetics, large organizations. So I figured we'd sort of have an informal conversation, get a chance to pick his brain and see what's sort of looming on the horizon in 2020. How's that sound?
Great, let's get started. Hey everybody.
Cool. So I know this is a conversation you and I have had over the past several months, the last 6 months or so. We've been seeing this shift, right? From consumer-facing chatbots to line of business, internal-facing chatbots. So why do you sort of see that shift going on right now? And why is it important for brands to begin to think about and potentially adopt chatbots internally?
So this consumer stuff is still happening, and in fact, it's getting mature. So that's cool. But what we do see is that whenever there is a big player introducing big offering into the market, so that player is heard, that player sells, that player educates. And in this case, Microsoft came out with Power Tools and Power Agents. Microsoft is saying, hey guys, we're now looking outside of just bot making with our Microsoft bot framework. We're looking into the enterprises and the processes there. And we recognize a lot of inefficiencies amongst the ecosystem of different products. And we say that we believe in conversational experiences, not only on the consumer end, but anybody who utilizes any kind of digital processes. So funny, even today, Microsoft launched Teams for Linux. That tells you something. They believe in it so much, they say it's for everybody, right? So they recognize inefficiencies in processes currently. They realize that to teach new employees in the company to utilize all these different processes through a number of different UIs is difficult. So what's a unanimizing UI? It's chat. So let's bring everybody into chat that taps into all these different systems through backend integrations.
Cool. No, so I think what you're saying is it sounds like not only consumers, but also businesses are now going to actually really be able to benefit from this sort of conversational transformation that we've been sort of in the trenches in, so to speak, for the last 3 to 4 years now. And we're finally beginning to see, to your point, the large incumbent companies rallying around with their platforms, Microsoft Teams, Slack, and saying, hey, you can not only use these just to communicate to their employees, but also be able to access automations on the back end that connect to a multitude of systems, CRM, things like SharePoint, file systems, ERP systems. So certainly beginning to see this trend emerge more readily. So that being said, what are maybe a couple of use cases that you think are sort of no-brainers almost for the enterprise to go ahead and adopt this year?
I'll at least say what we see.
Sure.
So companies come in, they say, hey, we realize it will be moving that way. We realize there is a lot of pain internally for all these different subsystems that are getting used inefficiently. A lot of time gets burnt. So help us out figure out the strategy. And a lot of them are willing to start with HR. HR, something very simple, something used on a daily basis with a lot of inefficiencies there. So if somebody's asking for vacation days, I need 3 vacation days. What's the process behind that? Well, HR personnel needs to come in and check one system, okay, how many days left? Maybe there are some other business rules that historically have been stored in other subsystems of the company. Now the HR member needs to understand how the decision is made and follow through all those different systems to collect all that information and now present it to the employee and say, hey, these many days and this is why, etc., so that it's well packaged. This actually is very mundane work, right? Humans should not be doing it because there is, all these different systems. You lose time logging into each one of them, searching for information, picking out that information, storing it in Excel, then repackaging and handing over to your employee, right? Well served, but a lot of time spent. Now that can easily be automated. So a chatbot now residing in a conversational channel that the company uses, Microsoft Teams, Hangouts, Workplace Chat by Facebook, all of them come out with different offerings. So that is the central place that's easy for everybody to understand because these employees are already using a lot of chat, right? So it's not a new system, it's something that they're acquainted with already. So that's one use case. Another one would be, and what we see a lot of is training. So training is this big ecosystem in companies, and that's a difficult to understand ecosystem. First of all, how to run employees through training. So that's a piece, like run them through all kinds of different connected courses. Then there are trainers and controllers that need to understand where the employees are in the process, who needs facilitation, who needs help, who needs checking up on things, etc. And there is a whole layer of reporting to stakeholders, how the new team got onboarded. So we have a big pharmacy client to who that is of utmost importance, to train their employees, because everything has to be compliant, everything's need to be very well controlled. So all these flows can be very elegantly handled through automation, through chat, and that's what we're doing for these customers.
Cool. Well, that sounds incredibly exciting and also really pragmatic. I almost wish when I used to work in the enterprise space, I could just access chat instead of going through 4 or 5 portals with 5 different browser tabs open. So I think it's going to be a really interesting year moving into 2020, a lot of opportunity. Take it easy, guys.
Bye-bye.